Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and it's time once more for some weekly painting progress. Now, we've been stuck at home for this past week, and technically we were going to be stuck at home anyways because it was spring break. So, what better way to spend my spring break than not get to go anywhere and actually paint stuff? So we're going to start off. We got another of the Flame Berserkers from Parabellum's Conquest done. Sorry, I'm clearing my throat here. Actually, he is the second one. I had this cool Cyclopsian head that I put on this other one. So these are going to join the ones that I painted last week. And I got to say, I really have been enjoying Parabellum's Conquest models. And maybe I'll actually finish an entire unit at some point or another and play the game. Also have this musician who probably, if I remember correctly, is supposed to have that arm on a totally different model. But whatever. That's who got it. So those guys are done. Set them to the side. What else do we have that got done this week? A random Arena Rex model. This is the second of 3 from the Ludus Magnus set. And I do not remember his name. And I did actually paint his face. And for whatever reason, the shadows and his hair are just kind of blurring that all out. I didn't do the best job on it. I did enjoy him, though. He's painted at least. The third model from that set is 95% done, and the reason I say 95% is because he's supposed to have a shield on his shoulder and I forgot to glue it on. Next up is this random, was it Prodos? I think they were still Prodos when they made this. This is from their Empire of Man Kickstarter for whatever their alternate Eldar was. This is like their Howling Banshee Proxy Exarch. I don't even know. It was basically, I painted it up like a Howling Banshee, but just so you guys know, she is tiny. I mean, tiny. Like, legit tiny. Look at the size difference. I mean, yeah, I get their space aliens and all, but she's so stinking tiny. Which is a shame, because it's a nicely executed sculpt. It's just really, really small. Smaller, it's like thinner than a Frostgrave figure. But I got her done. But you're not part of this week's roundup. We'll leave her out for a sec because, as is always the case, there's never a week that goes by, it seems, where I'm not painting a Kingdom Death model. I finally finished Alistair from the 10th anniversary set, and yeah, it's like he's fighting a child here. I could not get into him. I just could not bring myself to paint him for the longest time, and finally he just seemed to be getting all of the leftover browns and grays that I was working on, and finally, well, he's done, or he's done enough at least that he looks decent and would be a comparable model to hang out with all my other survivors. Speaking of Kingdom Death, we also got a few more Death High models done. I got the Flower Witch Disciple, and I thought I did a particularly nice job on her face, which is a challenge for me usually. If I can get it to focus there. Her Sentinel cloak hand thing. I know I just showed her off earlier in the week too, but she was pretty quick. Here's a model I don't even think I've done the video on yet. This is the Murderess. We'll put her video up this week at least, so you can see what she was all about. She's actually another Death High model. Doesn't really look it exactly, but she is. I really dig this model, other than the molded on blood, because you kind of can't really paint the other details on that nicely. Her face, for whatever reason, I felt like her head was kind of big. But she turned out okay. I'm satisfied with the overall finished model. And she'll fit in nicely with the other ones. Alright, what else we got? We got some War Games exclusive stuff done. Part of their Greater Good line, and I don't even know what they're called now. Was this the Marksman? Spotter? I don't remember. The lighting's really bad right now. It's super overcast outside, and it's not helping as I try to film them. I must have painted her at least 3 different times now, trying to figure out a color that I was satisfied with, and I just went with the grayish color. I don't remember which sept it was. It is a legit sept, I know that. And her bodyguard merchant Ronin friend here, who I'm not sure what I should do with his blade. It's kind of boring. I feel like I should do something with it. I do like his backpack full of all his extra gear. His robotic hand. I tried to make his hand more obviously robotic. I know the Tau don't really go in for shiny metallics and all, but I figured it needed to look the part. I don't know. He's still a work in progress. I might come back to him at some later date. So got those guys done. And then I've got Artel W's Chemfist Brute all finished. And he'll do me nicely until I end up with an actual Forge World Berserker. I really do like the Forge World Berserker, not to knock this model at all. I don't dig his Colossus-looking legs in his weird face grill eye mask thing. But otherwise, you know, I think he came out okay. He matches the rest of my Goliaths. And since I've got basically unlimited time now for the next, I don't know how many weeks to paint, I'm going to finally sit down and buckle under and do a bunch of terrain for Necromunda since we have all of our gangs finished, because we went ahead and wrapped up our Goliaths. So, Goliath number 1. You're not a Goliath yet. Number 2. I did actually paint all the eyes. I tried to paint them as whatever color stems are running through him at the time. So he might have blue or green. It's hard to see from here. Maybe green. I don't know if any of their gear is actually legit in-game. We got this guy, and I just realized I didn't bother to bore out the gun barrels or put the blue lines for his plasma gun. Shucks. We just strapped an extra axe to him just because, why not? And then I had these 2 leftover guys that I couldn't find the bases for. So here's number 1. And I had these plastic bases from somebody that I got recommended on Daka, and I don't even remember who now. If you guys remember or you know where I got these, by all means, let everybody else know. But they made custom hard plastic injection bases that are obviously very industrialized. They also had cobblestone ones. They're 25mm bases, though. They're not 30 or 32, so that's the only downside. But that one, and there were a couple different designs, and I know I have more somewhere. Where that is, I don't know. But they worked out pretty well. At least the entire gang is now based. Whether or not they are, you know, legit in-game, I have no idea. And to accompany them, because why not, we got all of the Forgeborn done. And I did an absolutely terrible job gluing these guys. It became readily apparent as I tried to paint them. So we just ran with it. I mean, up close you can probably see the details, but I figure for games, it's not going to matter. This guy especially, I thought I did a terrible job with. And some sloppy paint work, because all my brushes are getting nasty. We're going to have to replace them, and that'll be fun with all the local stores totally closed. So this is one of the female Forgeborn. We got a nice silver smudge on her butt there. Great. Oh, well. And the other one with the welding mask. I like that touch. She came out okay. And finally, we're almost done. The stimmers themselves. Did I show these guys off before? I don't even know. We have gun stimmer, and we have axe stimmer. I think I like axe stimmer more, just because of the chains, but he's got the cool shoulder pad as well. I did save back all of their extra gear. We'll do some inevitable converting at some point or another. And if you're curious, just size-wise, how these guys all stack up to the Artel models. They're almost the same size, and they're all on 40mm bases too, so something to think about. Overall, a nice haul for the week. I have a few models sitting in front of me currently that I'm going to need to work on, but since I've got nothing better to do at the moment, guess what I'll be doing this week? And if you guessed painting, you're right. Hopefully all of you out there are staying safe and staying quarantined and getting through your piles of plastic as well. And enjoying it while it lasts, because eventually we're probably all going to have to go back to work. With that said, this is I, Lord Tamberlane, with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching. We'll see you back here soon, hopefully. Bye-bye.